Module 6, Lesson 1, Business and Society. Communication is spreading and progressing rapidly. Web communication, email, and satellites that transmit TV is used everywhere in the world. This encourages the connection between individuals and gives immediate data from anywhere in the world. People and countries are becoming more dependent on each other. Many common challenges connect them. The need arises in dealing with problems with the environment, poverty, and terrorism. They also associate common values such as democracy, human rights, and a free economy. All of them are values that contribute to the well-being of the citizens of the world. These issues create synergies. So, this would describe the process of globalization. In recent years, besides the long-standing debates about the negative effects of free trade, increased foreign investment, and capital movements, the focus is also on the business community and its role. How can they contribute to the development of sustainability and the fight against poverty? The main goal of the business is to develop, produce, and deliver goods and services to customers. This should be done in such a way that it will allow companies to make a profit, which requires much more than just skills in their fields and processes in the companies. Companies improve their resources by developing materials and ideas. If companies want to survive, goods and services manufactured must satisfy the requirements of customers, companies, or public institutions. They achieve profitability when customers are willing to pay more for products and services than it seems to produce. The ability to create this kind of added value, profit, is the basic prerequisite for business. But, it is also the basis for prosperity in society. Only profitable companies are sustainable in the long term and capable of creating goods, services, processes, return on capital, work opportunities, and tax base. The underlying commercial operations of companies are the primary benefit they give to society. Long-term survival of companies partly depend on managing trust relationships. The decline of such relations would threaten the company's current development. Experience shows that companies with an international perspective, which are open and accept the long-term approach, are often the best in managing relationships and therefore in developing their operations. The ability to continually improve the products and processes is a fundamental requirement. Companies wishing to continue to grow should be receptive to signals and opinions expressed by the market, employees, and the general public. Now that more and more customers and stakeholders require ethical, social, and environmental awareness, it is also natural for companies to be acceptable for these issues and to use them in their operations. The role of business in the development of society can be described in many ways. For a company to progress and develop, it must nurture the relationships with its stakeholders, of which there can be a lot. Some have a strong influence and are fundamental to the survival of the company. They include employees, customers, and suppliers. Media, authorities, trade unions, and local residents are other influential stakeholders. The growth of information-based knowledge in society requires companies to gather knowledge about the needs and expectations of their stakeholders. So, the chart of stakeholders and their views became commonplace. This practice is future-oriented and based on the business concept of the company and its current internal and external situation. Successful companies remain up to date with the developments and are good at minimizing business risks and ensure the development of new companies. Companies communicate with society and have different relationships with different players. Shareholders in a company are generally individuals or groups that want to influence or can affect the company's operations. Companies analyze society from the point of view of stakeholders to strengthen their market position. We must base stakeholder analysis on the business concept and to whom the company itself considers its stakeholders. How to interact with stakeholders is a vital issue. The stakeholder analysis of society helps companies to identify risk and future opportunities. All societies have their ethics and morals. The principles of law can be wrongly distinguished in society and among groups within societies. There are differences between countries in terms of levels of knowledge, traditions, and political beliefs. Nevertheless, we accept that all societies develop common principles that allow their people to live together, maintaining a level of trust. Large multinational companies have long had to deal with different norms and values. In today's multicultural societies, there are domestic companies with similar challenges. Staff, consumers, and suppliers can have many different ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds. To do the right thing and avoid misunderstandings or conflicts, companies need to be sensitive to the different norms and values they face. In such situations, more than just a clear business concept may be sought to connect the various stakeholders of a company. One solution may include a clarification of the company's core values to strengthen unity and within the company and in external relations. The values of society and the current level of knowledge are reflected in the activities of companies, and they are assessed according to current standards. Companies that have a clear identity and clear business concepts, often easier can deal with and integrate ethical and social values and take into account the environment. Having clear business objectives facilitate the formulation and implementation of objectives based on values and norms within the company and the general public. Despite this, many companies, no less than large companies with international operations, are often the goals of strong criticism. Usually, these critics ignore the contributions of such companies, the well-being, and the fact that, with no exception, they are continually improving the protection offered by both the environment and their workforce. Forces that want to limit the operation of multinational companies often see regulatory increases as a step in the right direction. As a central regulation, we must base the discussion of corporate social responsibility on the company's contribution to society rather than the few companies or individuals that violated the laws or went against ethical principles.